Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone.
Good afternoon, Julia. You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar, so the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself, but you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person. And you're a female person, so I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
Do what you like, I guess.
Well, there you are. You didn't need to tell me then, did you?
Welcome to the Karma compilation nobody asked for, but everybody needed.
Did you just assume my gender? You said white man.
Okay, I see your point there.
How do you know I'm not a woman?
I see your point.
You need to check your white privilege, your white female privilege.
Woke takes a hit and logic swings back. Let's get into it.
There we go. You're an idiot. Look at the Albanian mob back. Albanian mob.
So the only thing is, you can, of course, just letting you know our kitchen closes at 10. So we can obviously come at 9:30, but you do have to go in.
Put it down. Put it down.
Wait, can I get your phone?
Insecure as this. Oh, you're insecure. Look at that ego. That ego's hitting hard, huh? Woo!
Oh my God.
This woke liberal got a taste of her own medicine. Funny how quickly the energy changes when it's turned back on them.
So my poster reads, life begins when you understand living women matter more than potential babies.
What is it?
What do you mean?
If it's a potential baby, what is inside of a woman?
It's a fetus?
Is it living?
No.
How can it grow if it's not living?
Actually, that's like saying if an acorn is a tree.
When does the fetus become living?
That's actually a good question, but that line...
Yeah, of course, because you don't know it.
Oh look, the activist got a taste of his own camera. She thought she was cooking, but forgot the ingredients.
You put words in my mouth, man. I'm done with it.
No, I'm just asking.
So, at the end of the day, a woman's life is more important than the person that's inside.
So we both acknowledge that there is a person inside, but it's just not as valuable.
I am not saying that it's a fetus.
Well, you just said person.
Okay.
Do they only acquire the rights that you were talking about that we're born with after they go through the birth canal?
Sure.
So you're pro-abortion all 9 months?
Yes.
So anything that we do to that fetus prior to the 9 months, like killing it, would be acceptable?
Sure.
And do you believe that kids are born trans?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if a Christian wanted to abort their trans kid because they were trans? You wouldn't have any issue with that?
I mean, it doesn't matter because it's not like you put words in my mouth, man. I'm done with it.
No, I'm just asking.
Nope.
It's always funny when they get confused by simple logic.
Can you identify as a black person?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not black.
I'm not a woman, but I can identify as a woman according to you.
If you transition, maybe.
What defines a transition?
If that's your goal, you know?
If you believe it.
Sure.
If you believe you're black, why aren't you black?
Well, that's just not, that's like genetic. That's like ancestry.
You're also born a man or a woman. It's the same thing. That's also genetics.
Okay, I'm over it.
See how fast that confidence vanished when logic showed up?
Well, why is it considered a double homicide when a pregnant woman's shot?
Because she chose to have it.
Because
that's law.
A pregnant woman, she hasn't had the baby yet. It's still just a clump of cells.
So let's say I'm pregnant, I get shot, both me and the baby died, right? I didn't choose for my baby to die, right? Like someone took that choice from me. Let's say, for example, I got pregnant and then I decided to abort my baby. That was my choice. That's the difference.
That has no correlation. If a pregnant woman is shot and the baby and her are killed, that is considered a double homicide. Two people were killed. Baby, mama.
Because the choice was taken away.
I'd hope not. I hope she didn't choose to be killed. Either does the baby. Have you ever seen an ultrasound of an abortion? The baby is rubbing up against the uterus. They don't even let the mom who has the abortion see the ultrasound because they wouldn't go through with the abortion because the baby is rubbing up.
You can.
No, you can't.
She said a lot, but none of it meant anything.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at
If
some
your
point
chromosomes are X and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not men.
excluding a whole group of people
They're women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an example when we've learned and gender identity, they're completely different things.
They're not completely different.
They are completely different.
Completely different words.
This is what you're born with. The reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely different things.
Well, I don't accept that distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
The moment science enters the chat, the meltdown begins.
Statistically, it is true that Asians, right, on average, make more money, better test scores, get into better colleges, all that stuff. I think the question is, why is that? And I don't know, model minority, whatever that label wants to mean.
That's actually a myth because we cannot be...
Well, no, listen. Well, let me finish my point. We need to observe what makes people successful and unsuccessful. And I think when you look at trends that are generally true in the Asian community, not of everyone, but are generally true, usually you have families that are sticking together. You have people are taught to work hard in school, not get into trouble. I think that translates to why Asians en masse are successful. And I don't think you have to be Asian or white for that matter to not have kids out of wedlock, not, commit crime, not cause trouble or whatever it is. It's just a matter of common sense. That's what makes people successful. And if that's so-called assimilation, having a nuclear family, buying a house, going to school, whatever it is, then yeah, okay, call me a pro-assimilation then.
I think there's a difference between assimilation and erasure.
Yes.
He dropped common sense. They dropped their minds.
If you could eliminate one thing from the world, what would you eliminate?
Toxic feminism.
One said narcissists. The other said toxic feminism. Guess which one made them mad?
If I want to abort it.
Yeah, so if I don't want to own a slave, but you want to own a slave, am I supposed to just sit around and say that's okay?
Do not sit here in front of a microphone and compare owning a slave to me, you white. You have no idea to sit here and say this to me.
What you're arguing is that that child doesn't have the same right to life as his or her mother. Because you have decided, and what you said during your comments, was that if I got pregnant and chose not to have an abortion, I can do that. But you can choose to have abortion because the mother gets to decide the value of that person. That's exactly what happened in pre-Civil War America. To assign value to Black Americans depending on what you felt like. You could say, oh, I am against slavery because I know these people are human beings that have value and no one has the right to own another human person. But if I was a plantation owner in the South, I could say, yeah, they have some value, but they don't have full value.
Destroyed by logic. Triggered like a fire alarm.
May I see your criminology degree?
I'm sorry.
No,
Wait.
We've gotta. Are you a biologist? Ketanji Brown Jackson.
No, let me ask you a question. Do I need a criminology degree to be able to understand that 75% of blacks don't grow up with two parents?
I believe so.
Okay.
Do you have one? I don't, but I'm studying it. Okay, but you...
Oh, she studied it.
You did the same thing. You looked at a statistic, and he did the same thing. You don't have a criminology degree, and neither does he.
Hold on a second. You're doing an argument from a... Okay.
It's a fallacy.
So the laws of physics don't change whether or not you're a physicist. Okay, the law of thermodynamics doesn't change whether or not you take a course on it. Answer the question. Why do black have a broken family versus a nuclear family, and does that translate to higher rates of crime? Do you admit that?
Why is it that blacks don't have parents, though? Why?
Good question. We subsidize single motherhood in this country through the federal government of the United States.
She brought attitude, he brought facts.
You have to tell me about my identity, because I know for a fact I'm not confused.
Okay, next question. Great statement. You know your identity, you're not confused. Congratulations, sweetheart. Thank you very much for your statement.
Next question, that's a statement. Candace didn't even break a sweat.
How do you expect to have good faith conversations when you won't acknowledge that trans women are women, even though medical associations across the world will, and people who have degrees in medicine?
So funny you say that, actually. There are a lot of countries across the world that are actually pulling back on transgender medications, and I think we need to have a serious conversation about how these people are being turned into patients for lives. We need to talk about how people are profiting hundreds and thousands of dollars per patient on people who are being told that if they just take some hormones and get some surgeries, that all their happiness will be back.
Medical consensus. She hit them back with global reality and profit motives.
So if someone comes to you, young as like, listen, I was given this gender, but I do not feel like this gender. I really wish that I could live as another. Who are you to say you're incorrect?
A parent.
One word shut her whole argument down.
You
dropped out of college, and your highest...
Community college.
Sorry, your Harper College experience, I apologize.
Barely was smart enough to make it through community college.
Okay, what are your qualifications for arguing that college is a scam, or really having any economical knowledge at all, when likely the vast majority of the students here know more than you?
Who's Milton Friedman?
Who's Milton Friedman? I have no idea, and it's not important to this conversation. The same
Who
thing.
is John Maynard Keynes?
Okay, obviously I know who Keynes is.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
He's the most famous economist of all time.
You don't know Milton Friedman?
I mean, that's an economist.
F.A. Hayek?
I don't know who that is.
You're right, I barely made it through community college because I was too busy, starting a national youth movement with hundreds of thousands of members, raising hundreds of millions of dollars, having a top 10 most popular podcast, and reaching tens of millions of people online every day. I'm a job creator, entrepreneur, autodidact. Do you know what that word means? Yeah, self-taught. You should probably learn that word if you're going to come up and insult other people's intelligence.
He mocked his dropout status, then got schooled by the dropout.
Because are men and women equal? Actually, women are better than men. What do men bring to the world? Literally nothing. Women, the vibes, just everything.
Everything you know and love. If you look around the entire infrastructure of our nation, our economy, every building you walk into, the way that you are portraying your ideas and opinions is through technology and infrastructure and an economy and a nation that was not only built, but it's still maintained to this day by men.
Did men allow you to have that haircut?
You taking personal attacks makes me seem like the more intelligent.
Okay, I understand.
Validate your point, not some personal attack because you're losing the argument. Feminism stops whenever it's inconvenient for y'all. By definition, you are delusional if you cannot defend your ideas.
You should go.
I actually don't go to
She asked what men bring to the table, didn't like the answer, so she stormed off.
I just wanted to know, where are you from?
Texas.
From America, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, when was America great for us black people?
Right now? Tell you it's great right now? Yeah. It ain't great for you?
No, not at all.
How?
I mean, I'm living life.
Looking good. You got clothes on. Look well fed.
But that doesn't mean
Got
it's great.
beautiful hair.
Oh, thank you.
Got your eyeliner on. You looking good. What kind of bag is that? That's a nice little bag there. You look good. America look good for you. If you were eating out of a trash can, I'll tell you something different. America's a great place. I don't understand how we are not acknowledging that. It's great. Look at all these different people out here. Men, women, black, white. You will never see this much diversity anywhere else. It's the greatest place on earth. Everybody can be here and enjoy one another, disagree with each other. We have the freedom of speech, freedom to keep and bear arms. We don't have to worry about the government interfering in our lives for the most part. It's the greatest country ever. And if we don't start acknowledging that, we're gonna screw up something good.
Says America isn't great for black people, gets hit with reality and visible diversity.
Why don't we like the patriarchy? Patriarchy! Why? Because it makes it so much harder to exist and just have equal rights, and it just that.
So do you think women have it harder in society?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think men at all face any hardships at all, or is it really just an attack on women in our society?
Well, I feel like they're really expected to be the breadwinners all the time.
Mm-hmm. Do you like that or not like that?
I personally like that because I wouldn't mind not working in the future. So
in the future, you want to be a mom?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, you want to be a wife?
Yes.
What does that look like for you if we don't like the patriarchy?
I'm gonna let you answer that one. Oh, well, I was just going to say it's not about hardships. It's just about making it an even playing field.
Okay.
I mean, everyone can have a hard life, but women are statistically targeted more.
I hate the patriarchy. Also her. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Pick one.
You, I hate you.
Yeah. Would you like to have a substantive conversation or?
A substitute?
Yeah.
No, man.
No, would you like to have a conversation?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you piss a lot of people off because you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists.
What have I ever said that's racist?
Oh, what?
Can you name one thing?
I'm Hispanic.
Can I support Charlie?
Can you name
Does that mean anything?
Can you name a second thing I've ever said that's racist?
Sure. I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be used.
What
in
have I
your
ever
favor,
said
but
that's
I just want to hate you. You're awful. Get off my campus.
When have I ever said anything that's hateful? Have a nice day. He can't say anything I've ever said that's racist because I've never said anything that's racist. That is the American left in one picture, everybody. Lots of rage and no wisdom.
All that yelling, but couldn't name a single thing. Classic.
Can I ask you what you identify as?
Identify?
Ethnicity?
I identify as an American.
Not an African American?
Yeah, I had to work on my own merits and pretty much promote the principles I believe in, which is freedom, equality for all, which I believe that America does. And that's how I got elected into my position. I didn't get elected into my position because of the color of my skin or do any race baiting stuff that it seemed like you're promoting here.
Race bait failed. Logic won.
I want one example of one thing that's ever been given out for free by the government, because there's nothing that's free. It's paid for by somebody at some point at some level of distribution.
How about Jeff Bezos, who has like $50 billion or something? He can afford to pay for that, right?
How did Jeff Bezos get his money?
By exploiting his laborers and not paying them enough to buy from them.
Use Starbucks.
Okay.
So Starbucks, that's a billionaire. You know how rich Howard Schultz is? So you're participating in his exploitation.
Starbucks has better working conditions for their employees, though.
Well, how do you know that?
Because they have like a $15 minimum wage.
Wait, so Starbucks billionaire good, Amazon billionaire bad.
I would not like either of them to be billionaires.
Then why are you buying Starbucks? You're participating in the market economy.
Well, it's impossible to buy things without participating in the market economy.
You could have went to a farmer's market. You could have bought something outside.
There's no farmer's market here.
But there's no local coffee in Columbus at all.
Says she's anti-billionaire while sipping Starbucks. You can't really make this up.
You called our campus an island of totalitarianism, that SF State is much like Stalingrad or Leningrad, a Maoist-type concentration camp. I don't think an island of totalitarianism would be hosting this event for you to come debate people fairly, no?
Last time I was here, they didn't.
They only did because we threatened to sue them.
Yeah.
That's why we're here today. Do you know she was literally locked in a room for hours because a bunch of trans zealots were threatening her life? And they canceled the event in a classroom, and the university did nothing to punish the people responsible, and instead sent out an email apologizing that her presence came on campus. What do you think about that?
I think that if people should do protest peacefully, try and debate with logic and facts like we're trying to do now. I don't think sometimes you guys are here fairly when you come to debate people.
You said you had every intention of approaching this conversation of truth.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
That's a complex issue that
it's
I don't
not
feel
complex.
Okay, I'm not going to answer that because you guys asked me to be on.
You're interested in the truth. If you cannot say if men can or cannot get pregnant, you're clearly not interested in the truth.
He wanted a debate, but brought zero facts. That's not how this works.
Hello, Charlie.
What's your name?
None of your business.
Okay, hello, nice to meet you, none of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
I hate America. Also her, no, I don't plan on leaving. Of course you don't.
Older people like you guys, you can't grasp the idea.
Excuse me, I'm quite young.
All right, buddy.
I identify as 19.
See, this is the argument that people keep pulling. It's not about that.
Why
if people want to be
legitimate argument though? Why can't I identify as a black person but I can identify as a woman?
What? See, this is what I mean. Why is it harmful that people want to identify as another gender? How does that harm you?
How does it harm you that I want to identify as 19?
It doesn't harm me.
Okay, so then why don't you accept it?
I didn't say I didn't accept it.
Do you accept that I'm 19?
If you want to say that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me.
So will you take back your statement where you said that I was an old man?
Age shaming backfired real quick.
What is a woman?
What is it? That's a stupid question, dude. That's a dumb question.
What is a woman? It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Who identifies as a woman?
You can't answer the question with the question. Yeah, define the woman without saying woman.
It's a social role.
You're in college paying for an education. What is a woman?
How about you talk to someone with media training? How about you talk to someone
You don't need media training. It's not a trick. What is a woman? Can't answer the question with the... It's the college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question.
Asked what a woman is, called it a dumb question. That's not helping your case.
Is Trump right that there's only two genders, and should we just categorically acknowledge that here? Do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's just basic science in my head. I know some people disagree very strongly, but there's a man and a woman. It's as simple as that. Everything else is mental illness.
As simple as that.
Everything else is mental illness.
Trans people have existed for as long as human history.
I'm sure they think they have. Do you know how much we spend on education in this country a year?
I have no idea, actually.
Like hundreds of billions. And yet your kid will come out of school and being like, oh, I don't know how many.
Jonathan List couldn't count the genders because the number kept changing.
Men are providers, so go do that job. Go learn a trade. Go do something.
Well, you said that that's all they're good for.
And what are you good for?
A lot of things.
Like?
I'm funny. I'm smart.
You haven't demonstrated that yet.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I'm a musician. I dance.
You dance?
The list goes on and on.
What a great quality. You can dance. What do you bring to the table, though?
What do I bring to the table? Yeah. I'm smart. Okay. I'm funny. I'm attractive. I have talents.
Men are so useless that their only job is to be providing for you. It sounds like you're just a typified eater. Like, I don't know what you're really bringing to the table. You're just kind of consuming resources, right?
I mean, if you want to hear the answer that I could be domesticated and I can cook and clean and do all that, I can.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is what of value are you bringing to society?
By being me.
By being you. I'm enough.
I am enough.
Okay.
Apparently, sexism and racism only work one way now. She really said that with a straight face.
And you know that's like an ignorant way to stand, right? Like,
why?
You're over here, I tell you.
I'm actually half handicapped, so that's very offensive that you said that.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I can probably tell.
I'm super offended, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lying and being a high conflict is part of your personality disorder. Why are you looking at women with an eye?
Are you a woman?
Oh my God, so you.
Oh, I didn't even know. I'm sorry.
Non-binary, so it doesn't really matter.
Hey, that's why I asked. I was trying to be polite. That's what you should do, right?
He used their own logic, and it collapsed in on itself.
What are you? I'm a cisgendered man.
What does cis mean?
So that means if you were born a woman, and therefore you still identify as a woman, so you're a cisgendered woman, I would say.
And that's because of my physical femaleness.
You identify with how you... What am I? Well, I assume you're a cisgendered
I'm not
man,
a cis anything, mate.
if I may assume.
I'm not a cis anything. I'm just a man.
Well, no, but you're a cisgendered man.
No, I'm not a cisgendered anything.
But hang on.
What does cis mean?
Well, that means that you were born the way that you identify
No,
now.
I'm just born a man.
But someone who transitions.
Why are you insisting on calling me something I'm not?
Well, you can refer to yourself as just a man if you like.
But most people identify as male or female, man or woman.
That doesn't mean that there aren't other people who identify differently.
There are 100 different genders on this.
I'm a cis man, Piers. No, you're just a man. Game over. That's all for today's dose of woke getting woke smacked. If you're tired of the nonsense and ready for some common sense, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. Catch you next time. Don't forget to stay unwoke.